Go ahead and call the meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone to the annual organizational meeting of the Clark County Board of Education. This time I'd like to ask everybody to stand for a moment of silence, please, and then we'll do the pledge. Pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You all have a copy of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda as is, or are there any?
I'll make that motion as is.
Okay, motion by Mr. Heisel, second.
I'll second.
Mr. Talby. Anyone signed in for public comments? No? Okay, thank you.
Got to take a vote.
Take a vote on
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm new at this chairman stuff. I don't know about this. The motion was made and seconded to adopt the agenda as printed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
5-0. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the selection of the board chair for 2020. I'll open the floor for nominations at this time.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Peridot.
I appreciate you nominating, but I would decline that nomination. I'm pretty sure this is probably going to be my last year on the board, and I would just like to support others as they do this.
Well, I'd like to nominate Mr. Talby then.
Nomination of Mr. Talby.
I'd like to nominate Ashley Ritchie, board chair.
And Mr. Ritchie. Any others?
I'll nominate myself too.
Mr. Heisel.
Sure, you want me to nominate you?
Yeah, we can nominate Sherry. Feel left out.
Are there any other nominations? Okay. Do we need a motion for nominations to close? A motion to close the nominations?
Move to close nomination.
Motion by Mr. Peridot, a second.
Second.
Ms. Ritchie, all in favor, say aye. Motion carried, 5-0. We'll just go, I see we'll start at the top. We'll ask for we'll just do a voice vote.
Can we make a statement first?
Certainly.
Okay. Because I appreciate the nomination, but I have to decline that nomination just due to certain obligations I have external with the board. I appreciate it. I'd love to do it. I just don't think I could do it at the way I'd want to do it. So maybe next year.
Mr. Talby has removed his name. We'll just go down in the order of the nominations. All those by voice vote in favor of Ashley.
Oh, just a second.
Oh, you want? Okay.
So I also nominated myself, but I would be after Ashley in terms of speaking.
Oh, you want to speak?
go ahead and speak.
You go ahead and speak. I didn't know anybody else wanted to speak. Go ahead and speak.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I should let everybody.
Okay. Well, naturally, I've got a lot to say. You know, I've taken some conservative positions during my service in the last year, and so maybe I've not ingratiated myself to my fellow board members. But you know, the chair role is an administrative role, and I've done it before. I think I could do a good job with it. I appreciate quite frankly, the improvement Mr. Peridot brought to the board in the last year in terms of time management, and I would like to continue that if selected as chair and build upon that. One of the things I'd like for us to consider is to at least try out doing working sessions. I look at several other districts in the state that do that. And those are held typically about 2 weeks before the regular meeting. I think it'd be something at least we could try and see if that would be useful. I think when I was previous board, I think I did a good job of board demeanor, and I think I always tried to be respectful of other board members. Might not have always hit the mark, but that certainly was my goal. Our current board policy actually does not provide for the removal of the board chair in the middle of the year. And whether I'm selected board chair or not, I would want to make a policy proposal to give ourselves the ability, if 4 members wanted to remove the board chair or the vice chair, that we could do that. I think that's probably a better way to handle it. And I would do that no matter who's selected. One of the, as we're all elected by our various constituents, I would give the board members the ability to propose anything to go on the agenda. However, as we then vote at the beginning of each meeting to accept the agenda, that would be the time that it wasn't appropriate that we could remove those items, but that would give us the opportunity to be able to look at those items over the weekend and you know, fairly consider things that individual members think are important to their constituents. There's a contract with BSN that provides for the chair to be able to attend a meeting in Dallas. If I was selected as chair, I would essentially relinquish that and make that selection of who attends that by the full board, not just as the chair, as is specified in the contract. I think when I previously was board chair, I worked tirelessly to promote the district. I worked on the Why Choose Clark County document and attended Chamber of Commerce meetings and realtor meetings, and I continue to be active on Twitter and promoting the work at our facilities on Facebook. I had a posting last week at the gym, got 3,000 views. But either way, I'll continue to do that to promote the district. In my 3 years of board service, I've never missed a meeting. I've only been late to one meeting. That was a Saturday morning meeting. Back when I was in Europe visiting my son, I attended a meeting by a video teleconference. And I've also attended all but one KSBA annual and summer and winter conference, and then I even traveled this last year to the national conference and stayed on my daughter's couch so I could attend that. My work schedule is very flexible. It allows me the time to be able to handle items that come up, and I'm very committed to my service to the district. I used to be on the Parks Board, and I really think this is, you know, what I want to do to serve the community, and I would love the opportunity to act as chair again to further that service. So I would just respectfully ask for your all's consideration.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Ritchie, you want to?
Well, you all know who I am, you know what I stand for, so.
If no one else has anything else they want to add at this point, we'll do a vote by voice, and we'll just start with the first nomination of Ashley Ritchie. So all those in favor of Ms. Ritchie as chair, please signify by saying aye. All opposed?
Nay.
So I think then that's a majority of the vote, so Ms. Ritchie would be the chairperson.
Probably should let everybody go through every candidate. I mean, I don't really think you really have an opposing vote to somebody, but somebody
Okay.
votes for another one. That would be the best way. Would you agree?
There's nothing in the rules that do not prohibit that.
Okay. So then, the other nominee was Mr. Heisel, so by voice vote, all those in favor of Mr. Heisel signify by saying aye.
Aye. I think he's a good guy.
And all opposed?
No.
I don't think it.
Yeah, I don't think it-
I don't think it
Yeah.
moves there, you know.
All right. So by vote, then Ms. Ritchie will assume the duties of the chairperson.
Is that right now?
All right, congratulations.
Start right now.
Thank you, Sherry, for the nomination. Well, I guess we'll move along to number 3, selection of board vice chair for 2020.
Can I say something before you move on to the first thing? I didn't get a chance to speak. Everybody else at the table got to talk. so
I couldn't nominate you.
I want to thank Mr. Peridot for the work that he did.
Absolutely.
He did something that was new for me as a superintendent. He actually asked my opinion on things and made that part of every motion, every item that came up. I appreciate that. never, in doing that, never is it my expectation that we'll agree on everything and my recommendation will be taken. That's not an expectation. But I just wanted him to know that I really do appreciate the fact that he asked. And he did a pretty good job too, Scott.
He did.
So
He did a great job.
both have done a good job.
Then I'll be calling you for advice. Okay, so number 2, or number 3, selection of board vice chair. So I guess we just open that up for nominations the same. Okay.
I'll nominate Sherry. Ms. Richardson.
No, you just asked for
Okay,
any other.
any other nominations?
Move for nominations to close.
No one is.
We need a second.
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor of Ms. Richardson as vice chair say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Number 4, appoint board secretary. I think it's standard that it's usually Paul.
I nominate Paul then.
Can I speak? I think I've done a pretty good job for several years as secretary with my right hand over here.
So can we just say all,
There's a motion to appoint Paul, need a second.
okay. Who did he make?
I made the motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Peridot,
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
seconded by Ms. Richardson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 5, consider approval of Alicia Ellis as the treasurer of the Clark County Public Schools and board treasurer.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Peridot,
And second.
second by Mr. Talby. Sorry, Bill. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 6, establish sequence of voting. I mean, usually we do by district.
Well, that's by the board
Yeah.
chair decides, so I mean, we usually go by district
I
and you
just
you
leave
go
it by
right straight
district,
down there.
unless anybody has any other.
That make it
By district.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with your 5, so.
I'm always 5. Okay, is everybody good with that? So do I need a motion for that, I guess?
No.
I'm not sure, because that's just a chair.
It's a chair rule under our meeting, under our rules, point 01.4. It's at your discretion. You just have to articulate that. So
Okay. Everybody understand that then? We're gonna keep it
By district.
by district and do roll call votes as needed. Isn't that how you left it, Wilma?
Yeah, if you think it needs hand raising, then do that, however you want to do it.
Did you did that in the beginning, did you have?
Well, we just,
As
just
needed?
I think there's some things that you're probably going to vote on, you want to make sure that you know what everybody stands for.
Okay. Okay. Number 7, approval of monthly meeting dates, times, and locations.
I do believe Mr. Heisman made a good point about the work sessions. I know I've talked to Sherry about this before. I went to one board meeting or a board seminar, regional seminar, and there were like 5 out of 7 districts that were in the room with me, and all of them did a work session at some time before their board meeting. Some of them did it an hour before, some of them did it a week before. I just think there's some things, that we were hit with at different times that deserve more conversation without action on that, and I would definitely be for throwing a work session in there, and if we wanted to put them in at the first, they would be very easy to cancel if you didn't want to have one or didn't feel it to be necessary. I think it brings up a good time, what Scott talked about, board members wanting to add things to the agenda, gives you an opportunity to talk about that as well. So I don't know how everybody else feels, but I think that would be a positive thing for our board.
Yeah, I agree. Mhm.
How soon would you want to,
I'd be fine with that.
I mean, do you want to do it a week before? What would be easier for you in case somebody
Well-
wanted to add something? Arlene's got a second. Yeah.
Probably at least a week ahead of, at least a week.
Week
in
to
it.
a week and a half.
Yeah,
That would, first mean having that agenda ready at least a
Yes.
week before that, so if you're having it.
and the tentative agenda, we usually have the tentative agenda ready a week ahead.
Yeah.
But we could have it, and we could do it a week ahead.
I mean,
She does not
Go
look
ahead.
thrilled.
Mr. Thomas, in terms of what our real need is to specify, I guess the first layer is to specify when our regular meetings are. That's correct. So we could specify, here's when our regular meetings are gonna be, and then maybe we could pencil in, some of these working sessions that I was thinking we might, maybe we go ahead and pencil it in for 2 or 3 months and see how it worked, and then, we don't have to decide everything on working sessions right now, because we might decide, we might try in February to do one 2 weeks ahead, and then in March do one a week ahead, and just experiment with some things. But I think we don't have the necessity to nail those down, but we can maybe just pencil some in. And then as the calendar goes on, then we can go ahead and say, well, we really like 1 week or 2 weeks or 10 days, and then maybe we can go ahead and schedule some more out. That would be my suggestion.
I would also, I'm not sure why we have meetings on Tuesday nights, because there's a lot of meetings, and there's other meetings in the district. There's also athletics in the district. So, I would like to see us either discuss or make a motion to move them to Monday nights, unless there's a reason why we need them on Tuesday nights. And that would give another day for agendas after work sessions.
Keep it the third Monday,
Same time, same time.
third Monday. That would make my life a little easier.
I'm okay with that. I would just caution you, if you change that third week, that gets into really interfering with
Because freshmen on Monday.
payouts and everything. If we change the week, but to do it on Monday night doesn't affect anything. That won't affect any of the payouts or anything that we have, the time frame. The work session, just for my thing, I would like for you to consider maybe doing it, the work session, in 2 weeks have the meeting, leave 2 weeks in between there, and that way you're not meeting
Back to
2
back.
weeks in a back-to-back every month, meeting 2 weeks back-to-back.
another thing I think to look at on Mondays too, a lot of times holidays fall on Monday. I know you got to come to your first meeting right there. It's on Tuesday, the day after Martin Luther King Day.
Yep.
So, I mean, you need to make sure we take into consideration the Monday holidays as well. If we need to change on, some of those are pretty much considered work days, but I know, there are days that we're not in school. And I think we would probably, not that we have to, but avoid days of having a meeting when we're not in session. I don't think that's a necessity, but I just think that makes it a little bit harder on people that are not already here or something. But I'm up for anybody, but I do think we need to.
Of course, the calendar you have is for the Tuesdays, but we would
Right.
have to go back and look at Mondays.
And I don't know how many of those
change
fall
them.
on there, but I just know looking at that first one.
And the reason they didn't look at holidays on when we were doing this one, other than ones that
Well,
fell.
that's far along, okay. No, this
Well, I
one's
think we've
done.
got, so we've got Martin Luther King Day, as you said, and then February the 17th is President's Day. Are we on that day?
Well-
Yes.
Oh, those will make it
Well, it's an agenda
That's-
item
yeah.
coming up probably, so we can try to decide whether we're
Bless you. Sorry.
I don't think there are any other holidays that
Get on that.
conflict
Right.
with.
I know one thing that would
Switching to the
conflict
third
would be
Monday.
the freshman JV football games on Monday nights in the fall.
Girls basketball,
Did the girls play on
they
Mondays?
play on
sometime?
Mondays a lot.
Okay.
We got that.
I know there's a lot of games on Tuesdays.
I don't know, but you're right, most school activities as far as site-based counseling, whatever, usually are not. And those do, for your open houses, are usually not on Monday.
Bill,
Like we had
as far as special meetings, put them on Mondays too, or leave them on, because like the May 26th, if we left it on as Tuesday.
Well, I would say the work sessions, what I would propose is regular meetings on Monday, work sessions on Monday, and the special meetings, we have to, as they come up, we just have to agree to that. If it'll be on a Monday or not.
You're talking about like these meetings here.
Yeah,
budget-
but
budget
the
meetings.
tentative budget's on,
Okay.
scheduled for a Tuesday. I mean, it's not scheduled, but that's,
Yeah.
Well, I think we've got the Memorial Day conflict.
right, that's what I'm talking, that was my.
Yeah, if it's a holiday and we're not in session, then we'll do a Tuesday.
Mr. Thomas, if we switched to Mondays and then found out that that really had an unintended, well, there was conflicts, is there any reason we can't mid-year say we want to go back to Tuesdays?
As long as you
we get-
announce,
notice.
these are our regularly scheduled, you have to set it out that it's regularly scheduled. And that's not to say that you know, for instance, the Clark County Fiscal Court now meets regularly scheduled on Thursday nights. You know, this is the first time in 40 years that they meet on Thursday nights. So you can change it. You just have to give notice to the public and to the media that these are our regularly scheduled dates.
Even if we decide after 2 or 3 months we don't want to do it that way anymore, you can change a regular schedule at that time?
Because you're changing it for the future. You have to say, this will be our, you all have to make the motion as to when your regularly scheduled meetings would be. You're supposed to adopt at the meeting in January. That's what our policy says, but Robert's Rules of Orders will allow that. We would have to amend our policy. You can reschedule regular meetings, but of course, those would be special called. So if you, I mean, to comply with our rules, we would need to make that decision now. But if we at some point decided that that was not working, we can make that change, but we'll have to modify our board policy.
At this
So do we need to make a motion to change the meetings to Monday night, Monday evening?
the
Third Monday of each month?
Do you have the dates on it? Did you get a calendar or we
We got a
look those
calendar.
over just to
Yes.
make sure we're okay on the rest of those? And,
Which ones you gotta change? The next one.
Yeah.
Your next one.
I'm sorry?
The January,
January would fall on Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
school would be out.
So that would be one that you would probably need to change from a Monday night if you wanted to meet only when we're in session.
February 17th is President's Day. Is that, what are we on that? So we're 8. That would go back to 7. We're out of school on that day, or maybe out of school on that day. So that's first 2 months
Yeah.
would be when we're scheduled to be out of school.
January, February, May.
We missed Mondays.
If
And
it's,
then
if
May the
it,
25th.
whatever the board
Monday,
decides.
Memorial Day.
Want to keep it on Tuesdays, I'm okay with that too. I just want to put that out there for
The
discussion.
25th,
Does it help your work?
Yeah.
May 25th will be the fourth.
That's the
Third
fourth,
Monday.
that's the fourth.
way
That
you
wouldn't
can
affect us there.
That way you
Three.
get on,
Yeah.
and keep yourself.
Yeah, and that, plus, you know, I feel like there is other
That's a tentative budget.
activities in the district that we could attend on Tuesdays.
It's gonna, yeah, I'm fine with changing them around and making ones Tuesday if need to be Tuesday, but that's,
Would be,
but when you start getting people accustomed to coming third Mondays and then it's Tuesday this month or whatever, it just throw people off with
Is there a reason why we can't meet if there's a holiday on Monday?
Well, I mean, the only thing that I would say is that people, you know, you don't know what people's commitments, I mean, I don't know what people's commitments would be on Martin Luther King Day, what you would have during that same time, but it is a recognized holiday, same way President's Day. I don't know if somebody has.
if you're not in
a
school, a lot
commitment.
of times your principals, your administrators, folks that you see sit here aren't at work, and that would mean being off work and coming in for a meeting.
That's true. I just don't want people to have to choose, well, I think I got to go to the board meeting, so
Yeah.
therefore I cannot attend a community function
Yeah.
because of that.
I agree with that.
So that's the only thing that would bother me with that.
But it seems like though, it's the first 2 months that the only conflict on the regular date, and then we can move over to Mondays.
Till the May meeting, the tentative budget meeting in May.
Right, I guess I was speaking of
Oh,
the
just
regular
regular, okay.
meetings, because
I'm just
the
looking-
regular meetings are the critical ones we need to nail down, right, Mr. Thomas?
Yes, sir.
The
Special call meetings are going to be special call meetings anyway. Work sessions are going to be considered work sessions. So you're only going to be, you'll be limited to those items that are.
and the budget sessions, we can move those
21st.
later on if we wanted to.
Sure.
But we'd have to keep, I mean, if we move them later on, they'd have to be, I mean, when this schedule goes out, if we send this schedule to the Winchester Sun, all of these are regular scheduled
That's
meetings.
correct.
Oh, the budget meetings are then
These are-
considered to be
these are
regularly
regular
scheduled.
scheduled.
regular scheduled
See, because you can change the agenda for those. If they're special session, you can't change the agenda at that night, so. But if this sheet goes out and in the Winchester Sun is printed public, then this becomes the regular schedule.
So if you look at that calendar, if you're considering change to Monday night, your January 21st meeting, because that would fall on Martin Luther King Day, that would stay the same. You would meet on Tuesday, January the 21st. If you wanted to change your draft budget to the next Monday, that would make it January the 27th. February the 18th would, that's a Tuesday, we would stay, that one would stay on February the 18th. Then the March meeting then would become March 16th.
April.
April would become the 20th. And May would become the 8th. What is it? It's a teacher work day, but we're in that day, so that we could stay, the 18th would be okay. May 26th would be okay.
You have to stay the 26th.
Unless you want to move it up.
No, because you got.
Yeah, we're not doing it tomorrow.
Memorial Day. So the 26th would stay the same. The June 16th would become June 15th. The July 21st would become the July 20th. August would become August 17th. September would be September 14th. The working budget then would become September 21st. The October would become October 19th. Student achievement reports would be October 26th. The November meeting would be November 16th. The December meeting would be December 14th.
So really just.
Those are all scheduled. Are you looking at the same time? On your timesheet, it has 6:30. You want to stay at the same?
Yeah, I think
No
that'd
change
be
in the time.
appropriate.
The locations, okay, everything's scheduled, it's scheduled for board meeting, at the board office here, there's none, okay.
I move to approve the schedule as amended.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Prato, second by Mr. Tawby. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
I'll get you a new copy of it, we'll get that out to you.
And number 8, Gordy, on this one, what was your, you just kind of, I mean, everybody's read through it.
Well, you've got those things to sign.
Right.
It's a big thing. If there's anything, open it up for discussion for anybody that wants to speak of anything that's on those pages.
Because there's no motion or nothing that's being
No.
made in
I
this
do
one.
think the goal page that was made in 15, 16 actually needs a lot of work with that. But it's something that, you know, that the superintendent will need to share with us and come together as a board on what we want our goals to be on that.
Might be a good work session, Tom.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then we need to make sure everybody received and their open meetings and open records laws papers. And you need to make sure we get those signed and get those back to Miss Arlene.
The protocol that you all just discussed, I have a form that lists the protocol, and there's a place for each of you to sign if you don't mind signing that for me.
Yeah, they're signed. Just shoot, give
She
them
wanted them.
all the whole thing.
Yep, yep. Brian has one.
He's an overachiever, he did kill them all. You don't have to,
He didn't have this packet.
you don't have to sign the other one.
This packet.
No, because he's not a board member. Okay. So then, number 9, consider approval of board members and superintendent to attend the KSBA annual conference at the Galt House Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky. You attend this too, though. Do we need to include you in
No,
that?
because I pay all of mine. No, it's not. I get CLA credit too.
Okay.
So we'll need to get
Okay.
a motion for the recommended superintendent.
Okay, so we don't have to approve that.
I'd like to make the motion to attend the
Number 9 is written.
KSBA Annual Conference at the Galt House in Louisville, February 21st, 23rd.
Motion by Ms. Richardson,
Second.
second by Mr. Peardo. All those in favor say aye.
Oh, Mr. Heisler. Wait a
Oh.
second.
Okay.
No, I was gonna have discussion.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I'm all in favor of it, and while I'm at it, I would encourage people to consider going to the national meeting in Chicago also.
When is it?
When,
It's in April or something like that. That's all I want to say.
One time we talked about sending 2 each year to one of the national. Didn't we have that last year, I think was the conversation?
I'd have to go back and look.
Need to get that thing down south and people compete for
that's
that.
I
right.
know, exactly.
Just got it back on the East Coast. It's been out on the West Coast for years.
Where'd you go last year?
Philadelphia.
And then Chicago.
Okay, so it was seconded by you, right? Okay. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. I don't know if I'm allowed to make the motion to adjourn anymore. I might just pass it on to Sherry.
Motion, get out of here quick.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. What's my time, Rudy?
7:02.
32.